Welcome to Pitch It To Me podcast, a show about the subjective past, present, and potential future of Flesh and Blood design. Today's episode is our traditional Pitchin Predictions, where we predict what cards and designs will make their way into the upcoming Super Slam set. You can find us across all socials, such as Bluesky and Instagram, at Pitch It To Me podcast.
I'm Fuzzy.
I'm Clark.
And I'm Joel. You went out of order.
I went last time.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We didn't do a traditional episode release last week because it was our 2-year anniversary where we did a monster 2.5 hour long stream.
No, I think it was longer than that. I think it was 3 hours.
I definitely broke over 2.5 hours. I don't know if we quite made it to 3 though, but it was a big stream.
It felt like an eternity.
We were fighting for our lives out there.
Yeah. But you can still go ahead and check out that live stream on our YouTube. That essentially took the place of our episode because we spent so much time getting ready for that.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Definitely some growing pains there, but we hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you to everybody who stopped by and made some funny comments. We really appreciate it, and I personally really enjoyed going back and reading all the comments because you guys are funny.
And if you're one of our giveaway winners, don't forget to reach out to us. I think we've had 2 people reach out so far, but we're still waiting on 1 person.
Yes, so if that's you who doesn't have a DM open with one of the hosts, speak up now or forever hold your peace.
I'm pretty sure it's Colton though.
Yeah.
So it should be easy to get a hold of him.
Yeah, we should be able to get a hold of everyone. But call to action.
Do you guys want to talk about what we're doing for today's episode? Because it's a big one.
Yeah, this episode's a monster. It's always a monster. It's our Pitchin Predictions episode.
Woo!
It's our traditional episode where we all toss around our visions of the future upcoming set in an effort to show how well we know Legend Story Studios and their designs. So we've gotten a taste of what Super Slam already has to offer, but we're going to be filling in the gaps with some of our own speculations. Once the entire set is spoiled, we do a follow-up episode where we all admire or laugh at which predictions were right and wrong. We also love to get our audience involved, so we've collected some predictions from our Discord users, and we're going to add a little extra juicy twist.
Oh?
That's right. We're gifting out free month-long memberships to our Patreon to those who get their predictions correct, specifically for the month of October. Even though this episode has already aired, you can still get in on the action. You can get your predictions in by going to our Discord and posting them there, or you can scroll down to the comments of this YouTube video, or if you're listening on Spotify, you can put it in the comments of Spotify. It will get read by us there in any of those 3 places. If you're somehow not listening to our podcast on any of those platforms, you're going to have to go and do a little migration pattern if you want to get in on the action.
So what makes a fun prediction? Something falsifiable or verifiable, like something specific or something not revealed yet, and something not guaranteed, like a ground fruit suggestion. And for those of you who don't know, that's a joke on our podcast where something is like so low hanging fruit it might as well be on the ground. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's like RKO is going to get a brute attack action. Don't do that. We'll laugh at you and we will not consider you.
Yeah. Or like there's going to be a reviled brute majestic attack. It's like, whoa. You're really breaking new ground there.
And by falsifiable, we mean like it has to be something that can be proven true. Yeah. Like if you think, Pallades is going to be S tier. That's great, and I want to hear about it, but I can't like prove that she's S tier because those are so like subjective and vague, you know?
Yeah, and like when is the point where we can say that she's S tier? Is it in the middle of spoiler season after we've seen like some of the Majestics? Do we have to wait for the Armory deck to come out? Do we have to wait for her to win her first event? And like if she wins it within 2 weeks of release, she's S tier. But if it's 4 weeks of release, she's only A tier.
But we don't want you to overthink it. We just want to hear your predictions about the set.
Yeah.
And real quick, let's remind the viewers what they get for joining our Patreon at the $10 tier. First of all, you get to join our monthly Crucible tournament.
Which Fuzzy's going to cook up something spicy for October.
Yeah, and that's basically where we get a custom format made by Fuzzy with all the different rule sets and stuff. Also, you on the podcast, you might have heard plenty of our Patreon subscribers submit cards for us to talk about in the Arsenal Zone. That gets to be you. We also do online hangouts. So if you want to talk with any of the hosts on a specific day, we post them ahead of time so that you can work it into your schedule and do whatever it is you guys want to do, whether it's testing or just talk about Flesh and Blood. We do that all the time. And then we also post articles that we write. We try to do them monthly, but you get access to all of those. We have some pretty good ones in there already. And the Super Slam spoiler season is about to start. The expansion slot cards are going to be revealed slowly in the coming weekends, like August 9th, 17th, and 24th. So we want to get this episode out and get all our guesses in before then.
Yeah, this weekend, while Clark is fighting for his life at the AGE to make sure that he makes top 16, they are going to be revealing the first expansion slot card. So that's why it almost feels like we've rushed this episode a little bit. We wanted to get ahead of that slow drip that LSS likes to do the month before release.
So, with all that being said, get down in the comments, tell us your predictions, and you just might get a free month of membership to our Patreon in October.
Yes.
If you get your prediction correct.
All right. With all that being said, we have a lot of predictions to get through. Let's just jump right into it.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Red pitch. We're going to be going over the talents. So Reviled and Revered. And trying to focus on what designs they're doing here. I want us to start off with a Discord prediction.
Nice, nice.
So Dark Vincent on our Discord gave a prediction that the Reviled heroes are going to have lots of design space for instant speeds and instant speed cards. Both because of the damage reduction that's going to be very important for Lyeth, and the additional damage design that we've already seen inside of KO. I really like this suggestion. Lyeth seems like he's going to have to rely a lot on instants to be able to do everything that he wants to do. And so I very much like the idea of there being lots of instant design space, a lot of instant speed cards inside of the Reviled design space. And in fact, I just think we're going to see it all over the place.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, Clark. I think instants in their many different forms are going to be present in a lot of the designs of this set. The only hero that doesn't look like he wants to see them is Tough Nut, but we're still missing a lot of the card pool. Maybe we'll see a little bit there as well.
And we've already seen the charms. Each hero already has one dedicated signature instant speed card.
All right, I'm going to take over the mic. First off, for the Reviled talent, I think there will be a legendary equipment that deals damage on defense and boos you. So similar to like Traverse the Universe, like you get a benefit from blocking with it. I think there will be something similar with Reviled specifically, because they're all about like playing dirty and being liars and cheats and stuff. So I think there's just going to be like something really unfair and it boos you. Just as a powerful, because I feel like both RKO and Lyeth have really difficult quests to get full advantage of their kit thus far. Like obviously we need to see more cards, but yeah, that's my prediction for Reviled.
I like it.
So when you say deal damage on defense, that's like when you block with this, it like deals 1 damage to any target.
I wasn't gonna get that specific with it. But I think it would be like probably to the opponent, like something like a you're headbutting your opponent, you know what I mean, and dealing damage that way.
Like direct damage though, not like a might token gives you damage.
Correct, literally direct damage.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Next, I have a Revered prediction, and for this, I'm predicting that there will be a card that cheers you when you pitch it. Probably something to do with like the star power or like the main character energy that Revered has going for it. And I don't specifically mean like a Fable, although I guess it could be the Fable. I'm thinking like, you know, like a 2-block, not our action card or something like that.
That's cool. We only really see pitch effects for Fable gems or resource gems. I guess if you count Chi, but I wouldn't count that.
And the reason why I'm thinking this is mostly because of Tough Nut and him wanting to pitch off the top of his deck. I just feel like if there's not going to be an abundance of blue 6s to trigger his cheering ability, there will probably be some other way to effectively trigger his hero power.
Cool.
So for my 2 predictions, I didn't quite follow the same, like make one for the Revered talent, make one for the Reviled talent. Instead, I think that both Revered and Reviled are going to have lots of non-attack actions with Go Again that boo or cheer you. So I think this is something that I kept thinking as I was staring at the set and all the cards that we've seen. Where the fuck is the Go Again?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's a lot of Go Again in this set. Now, one, this sort of ties into Dark Vincent's prediction of there being a lot of instant speed design and mechanics. But I also just think that with the cycle of cards that recently got revealed during the keynote, where we saw them giving rewards if you already had the token present, then I think it's going to be really, really important for everyone to getting booed and cheered as their first action on a turn.
Yeah.
And so that can either be instants, but do they really want to put that many non-blocks in the set? I don't know. That's a little risky. So I can very much see them doing non-attack action cards that boo or cheer. This could be very similar to the heavy cycle, where it was the hybrid cards that were 1 for +3, 2, 1, and gave the token for the hybrid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I can see that too.
Lead with speed, and then there was one for might.
Lead with power, lead with...
the
vigor.
lead with series. Thank you.
Or lead with heart, excuse me.
I think this is a pretty good prediction, maybe a little bit aiming low. You're kind of saying, I think there's going to be a non-attack that does the core mechanic of the set. And so I think you might be a little bit vague here.
I'm also saying it's specifically going to be in the talents, right? If this was printed in the classes, it wouldn't give me the point.
Well, it would kind of have to be in the talent because those are the talents that interact with booing and cheering. It'd be really weird for Reiner to play a card that boos you or cheers you, but it would be something that happens. So I'll let you go around with that one, Clark. I'm just saying now that one's a little. I totally 100% agree with this.
That one's definitely going up for review.
All right. How about this one though, Fuzzy?
Okay.
This one is kind of specific to the Reviled. It's going to be a Scar for Scar card, but rather than having less health, it's going to be having more health. And I even have a name for it. Kick them while they're down. Because what a Reviled thing to do. What a heel action in a wrestling match, right? The opponent's already down, and they're just stomping on them. Kicking them while they're down.
For this prediction, what does Scar for a Scar mean for you?
0 cost source of Go Again that I would say is at 4 power, not 3 power. Because I think we see a lot of 3 power Go Agains printed into a lot of limited sets. But this is going to be talented, so I think they can push it to 4. And it will have Go Again if you have more life than the opponent.
So literally a 0 for 4 with conditional Go Again if you have more health?
Yes.
Okay. That is a lot more specific.
Yeah. You didn't see it. I just
He pump faked Fuzzy. Fuzzy didn't flinch.
Damn straight.
But he did laugh.
Damn gay. It says here in my notes, bonus prediction from Clark.
Oh, is this a first bonus of the episode?
Yes.
That's right. For each pitch, we get 2 predictions, but we each get 1 bonus one to throw in where we choose.
Yeah. And I'm cashing mine in early. So one of the criticisms that we heard about Super Slam from its first reveal is, this is so goofy. This is so lame. Why is everyone such a cartoon character in this set? And then LSS during the keynote speech, they were like, look, hold the fuck up. Who do you think we are? And they showed off this badass art of a brute screaming to the heavens with all this blood and viscera, and it's all red and dark and gory, and it's sick as fuck. I think it is going to be a red Reviled Brute Anthem card in the style of Blood Rush Bellow and Blood Dripping Frenzy. They've already shown that they are willing to print anthems similar to Blood Rush Bellow, provided it is talent locked and synergizes with that talent. I think this specific art is going to be attached to a red anthem. So a non-attack action card that pumps all brute, could be all brute and reviled attacks.
That'd be cool too, because then it would buff like the really tiny attack actions that probably wouldn't get buffed by the Blood Rush Bellows already.
And I think it also typically acts as a way of servicing Go Again. I don't know how reliable that's going to be, but I have noticed a lack of Go Again. I don't know what its additional cost is going to be. I don't know how the anthem is going to work, right? Blood Dripping Frenzy works differently than Blood Rush Bellow, I think this card could also work differently. But the fact that there's going to be a red non-attack action card that acts as an anthem for RKO.
Got it. Red Rush Bellow.
Red Rush Bellow.
I'm looking at this art and it's pretty metal.
It's pretty fucking metal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, that was in the keynote.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was talking out of the mic for that. I was just in awe.
I imagine we'll cut it, but that's what it looks like.
Cool. What do you got, Fuzzy?
Okay, I'm going to have to...
Well, hold on. Joel, do you have any thoughts on that prediction?
The only thing I have an issue with about this prediction is that it's reviled. I would really like it to be... Although, I guess Blood Dripping Frenzy, the example you used is Shadow, so I guess it makes sense, but I just don't want to play RKO, bro. I want to play Levia or Rhinar with this new like Red Rush Bella, or even Tough Nut too. I'd want to play this card with. But I think it's a cool prediction. I really hope that you're right, because Brute needs some interesting design space that still helps them like play synergistic gameplays, but also like helps them break parity like Blood Rush and Blood Dripping Frenzy accomplished.
Yeah. I just noticed that like this RKO can't play Cast Bones.
No. No
So
shot.
like I think they need another like turn card, another thing to say like this is the power turn, go for it. Keep your 5-card hand and like shove some damage.
And yeah, and they do have a lot of room specifically with Reviled, because you know, it's a talent that no one else shares, and KO already has like the blue 6 tribal going on with his other version, so you just need something cool.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm ready for my 2 predictions. First, I have a prediction about a suspense aura. If we look at the suspense auras we've seen so far, we've seen 2, and they have this pattern where they do something when they enter as well as leave. There's one that draws you a card when it enters and leaves, and there's one that lets you recur an attack action to the top of your deck when it enters and leaves. So I'm not going to tell you for my prediction that they all do something when enters and leaves. I'm going to take that as an assumption. I'm going to take that for granted. I'm going to try to predict one effect that they're going to put on a suspense aura, and namely that's that it will give +2 to your next attack when it enters and when it leaves.
Oh.
So if it gives +3 or +1, do you get that wrong?
I'll leave that up to the judges when it's time for the judges to decide. It's not really my call.
We will be conferring. Absolutely.
I just thought this was a cool effect where like you can time it to come with one of your powerful attacks, you know?
Yeah.
Like I also imagine it would probably only buff your next like guardian attack. I don't know how specific I want to get with it, but
yeah,
like when you see your really powerful big attack, especially because you might not have attacks in every hand, depending on how many of these auras you're running. So using Pleiades' ability to delay your buff into a future turn makes a lot of sense to me.
And get it to line up with like that big splashy blue 6 power, take an extra turn card.
Exactly. Like with the cards that you want your cards to line up together. So this seems like the kind of effect that Pleiades would play with. And the rate kind of seems okay. I haven't put a cost or a pitch value on it, so who knows. But you'd also, I don't know, you'd only want to play this aura on your turn, but you could buff like your next attack if you play
popper, maybe.
Oh, that would be cool. Like use it in conjunction, make a popper.
Turn a 6 power into an 8 power so that they can't power reduce it. I mean, Prism just makes me always think about the tiny little niche interactions of modifying power. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a cool idea.
My next prediction is about talented equipment. So I've looked at the spreadsheet that's been posted online for this set, and there's very little space for talented equipment at all. There's basically space for 2 equipments of Reviled only and 2 equipments of Revered only, which means there's not enough for an entire equipment suite of commons. You know, we're not going to see head, arms, legs, and chest. So what I think is happening is much like Tales of Aria, there's going to be 1 common and 1 legendary equipment for each of these talents, and it's going to be in the same slot. So I think, to even get more specific with my prediction, I think that Reviled will have a single common arms piece and a single legendary arms piece. And I think that Revered will have a single common legs piece and a single legendary legs piece. If for Joel and I's prediction to both be correct, that legendary arms piece would have to deal direct damage and boo you when it defends. I kind of chose arms and legs because arms is associated with plus and power. And we've seen the Reviled talent have a connection with the might token in the set already.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining it'll give might tokens, but I'm not going to be that specific with my prediction. I think I've already been pretty specific.
Yeah.
That is quite specific.
And I
think
chose legs for Revered because legs seem to be the equipment that default to being plus defense the most compared to others. I feel a lot shakier
action
about
points.
it. Right. Legs are definitely associated with action points, and any piece of equipment can be associated with defense. But we've also seen things like quick draw flexors, which like are really good at defending, you know?
Or the newest one from the Guardian Mastery pack.
Yeah, that helps you get around dominate.
Something of the mountain, I want to say.
Base of the mountain.
Base of the mountain. Thank you.
So there's a lot of caveats there. Hopefully I can get at least half of that prediction right.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I'm thinking for these talented equipments. I really don't think we're going to get more than like 2, you know? So we're not going to be like seeing lots of just talented equipment.
I agree with that.
I think that's all we have for Red Pitch.
Yeah, we moved through that pretty quick, but that's because we got lots of predictions still to come. Let's go ahead and move into our yellow pitch. Our yellow pitch is going to be focused on the classes. Now, this one we've definitely seen a lot less going on.
I still have no idea what's going on.
with Brute and Guardian.
Yeah, it's just what they've revealed has been very tactful. Like I'm still very much in suspense about what's coming for Guardian and for Brute.
Yeah, we've seen the slightest glimmers of things, but still so niche that it's like, because the one Guardian aura we've seen is the Pleiades suspense aura that draws a card.
Yeah.
That's like the only base Guardian card we've seen so far.
Yeah, I did not realize that was Guardian for so long.
Yeah, plain Guardian too, right? Yeah, like Bravo can run that.
Yeah.
Okay. Joel, do you want to hit us up with that Discord prediction?
So to start off, we're going to do a Discord prediction, and I've actually met this guy in person, so that's pretty cool. Old Barnacle says that KO will get a specialization that will let him cheat in a weapon. And I think by this, he means like because KO's wording on his hero power specifically says you start with one weapon slot, that doesn't mean you can't get more as the game progresses.
Yeah, that change in language from KO armed and dangerous. This is one that I think we've heard pretty reliably throughout, right? But it's still, I think, a prediction. Because I think it's still pretty crazy to be like, look, no weapons in limited. No one gets any weapons in the limited format. Except this guy can draft a card that lets him have a weapon. And it's like, whoa, what do you mean?
Yeah, there's so many like little pieces of like evidence in the set where I'm just like, what the fuck are you planning, man?
Yeah, they specifically phrased his hero ability differently than they phrased it the first time, even though this is kind of the second time we've seen it, you know?
Well, there is this one art with KO, I believe in the new set,
Where it's the young art.
Yeah, where he's like swinging a bunch of ball breakers in his art. So maybe he just has like one arm, but it's like 2 ball breakers. I don't fucking know, but it looks cool.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a meaningful prediction, even though it's something that we've heard a lot of people say. It's still like a swing.
Are you setting the ground for your prediction, Clark? Why don't you take us away?
Well, I mean,
Don't be so cool.
I think Beat Chest is going to make a return in Super Slam.
That's a valid prediction, even though we've literally been saying it on our pod for months now.
Like the first time I saw Super Slam in RKO and like, oh, he wants to run all these cards that have less than 6 power. I'm like, there's no fucking way this hero is existing without Beat Chest.
But
Yeah.
how do you beat your chest with only one arm? No, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. Sorry.
I just did it.
When you only have one arm and you're using it to beat your chest,
Also,
I think
he
that's
has a
pretty
claw.
badass.
Aren't you like one?
No. The claws on like it's like the assassin dagger in like Assassin's Creed. It just like doesn't come around to the front of the fist.
I don't know. They're like curved claws. I can't imagine that works logistically. But I'm here for the prediction because you've been talking about beat chest for a very long time. I know you like it.
Yes, and I think we just need more Beat Chest. Now,
Yeah.
I think if this is just like one Majestic, it's not enough. Right? I think we got to see some more common and rare support.
You're thinking about like a whole slew of beat chest cards that actually fleshes out the play style for all brutes.
At least a decent amount.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be more than just one card. I think it's also very likely that they just print a single Majestic and they're like, this has beat chest. And I'm like, okay.
Wow, that would be so sad, and also would totally be enough to start running beat chest in more decks, because the design is kind of that close to being really viable. People are already running Bonebreaker Bellow red and blue, just because of the utility of being able to discard on command.
Yeah.
It's also odd though, because right now it's synergizing great with all the cards that reward you for having already discarded a 6-powered card. Things like Savage Beatdown, things like Massacre already, right? So I think adding like a 3-cost Majestic that also exists in that slot of if you've already beat chess, I think that also works really, really well. I think it would also work well for KO. Again, sort of looking at that 4 resource curve that he's looking to do. If you spend 1 on a Bonebreaker Bellow and then 3 on a Majestic follow-up, tracks really, really cleanly. But I think it's got to be more than that. I think just printing 1 more beat chest card isn't enough to be like, beat chest made a big return here.
Sure.
I think it's got to have a few. Hey, maybe that's what the Red Rush Bellow does.
But he's not
It's a
beating
beat
his
chest.
chest on the art.
No,
He's like yelling.
but neither is Rawhide Rumble or Bonebreaker Bellow.
I don't know. Rawhide Rumble guy seems like he beat his chest pretty good before he was, doing all that roaring.
Yeah. Here, I'll go right into my next prediction.
Okay.
I think we are getting Legendary Guardian legs. If we're not getting it in Mastery Pack Guardian, we gotta get it here, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta come out here. So we're finally getting the Legendary Guardian legs, and I think it is going to work with Go Again. Because we already have Quick Dodge Flexors. We already have Base of the Mountain. There's already 2 generic leg pieces.
This
to
makes
deal
a lot
with
of
block.
sense to me.
So I think they gotta give Go Again somehow. No, I don't think they can just give Go Again to like crush cards. Though I think they could do that. I think that would be bad design.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
think
terrible.
it'd be more interesting to give Go Again to auras. Now, I really like this with Pleiades because she gets to cast her auras at instant speed,
Oh God, no.
letting her net an action
I
point.
don't like this.
But then she still has to resolve 2 more cards. She still has to do 2 more things with all those resources. And Guardian stuff costs a lot. It requires a nice big hand to make it happen.
I don't know. There's like E-Strike. I think it's a good prediction. It's really out there. I sincerely hope that it does not happen the way that you're describing, because it sounds bonkers broken. But
I agree with a lot of your logic. You have my support on this one.
Yeah. I also think one of the things that's holding back the aura strategy for a lot of Guardians is the fact that you have to resolve the aura and you can't do anything. And so they don't like playing the aura strategy because there's not enough action points when you finally get tempo. So by being able to give auras like Imposing Visage Go Again or Towering Titan Go Again or anything like that, I think it would help Guardians be encouraged to run a bit more auras.
cool.
Instant or not.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm gonna go next. I did one for each class again. For Brute, I'm predicting that there will be a conditional 4-block Brute defense reaction. And that's because Tough Nut reminds me a little bit of Gravy Bones, in the sense that Gravy Bones got blood on the water to hedge against him having to deal with like allies that don't block at all. I think he's going to have a lot of really juiced cards to make up for the fact that he has 3 intelligence. The main inspiration for this card was, I can't remember the name. It's called The Crowd Goes Wild, where it gets reduced by 3 resources if you've been cheered. So I think a lot of cards like that will be what lets Tough Nut play above rate.
Already a lot of interesting ideas floating around in my head. A reaction with conditional that you can only play if you've been cheered this turn, but then you could also spend resources to dump into it so that you could like make toughness tokens, which you could then consume on a follow-up block.
Yeah, like maybe like a 0 for 2 and then you pitch 3 to make it, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting ideas like that. So yeah, because he can pitch at instant speed too, right? And that's very important, not just for things like Arcane Barrier. But also designs like this.
No, that's exactly what I think as well, is that the fact that they made it an instant is not a coincidence in a lot of cases. So that's my prediction for Brute and Tough Nut specifically. For the Guardian side of things, I think there's going to be an aura that doubles the amount of tokens that you create.
Hey, yo.
And the reason why I think this is because we just talked about it. The Pleiades aura, or the Plain Guardian aura, in the palm of your hand is a Plain Guardian aura. And if that one is Plain Guardian, it makes me think that Lyeth will have access to a good amount of these. And Lyeth wants to create a lot of tokens. So I was just thinking, like, if he wants to create multiple might tokens every single turn so that he can really shore up the negative effect of his hero power, that might be one way to do it. And confidence tokens in comparison cannot be doubled up as well as might tokens. So this would be something that other heroes can use, but maybe not specifically Pleiades, but they've had cards like that before in main sets. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, Pleiades works with, what is it, toughness and confidence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she would still benefit from doubling up on confidence tokens.
Toughness
Definitely.
tokens.
Yeah. Or did I say confidence? I meant toughness. Thank you.
No, I agree. She can still definitely use a card like this, but I think it would get the most value from Lyeth.
Yeah, where he can double up on those mites.
I also have a third one.
Oh, Joel's bonus.
So my bonus prediction is that Tough Nut is going to get a Heave card.
Ooh.
What the f- Oh, so Heave reads, at the end of your turn, when you go to put this in Arsenal, you can pitch and then pay that amount and make that many Seismic Surge tokens.
Yeah.
Seismic Surge tokens say your next Guardian attack action card costs less. for
Wait,
each
is this
Seismic
specifically
Surge.
Guardian?
Yes.
Seismic Surges are Guardian, yeah.
Well,
I was like, this is such a spicy prediction, Joel.
It could be like Heave, right? Like a Heave copycat.
yeah. Let me
A Heave-like
fucking
card.
Clark. So my prediction is that Tough Nut will get a card that is like Heave, where you get a bonus from pitching into it and either get Vigor tokens for the following turn, or you reduce the cost of your card for the next turn. Because he seems like you want a really fat attack to sort of break parity with, again, the 3 intellect thing. I just think he needs either on hits or really big numbers or really good defense. And I don't really know which one to go off of, so I just decided to throw something like a Heave-esque Brute card.
I think I disagree because the idea of a card that's really expensive seems like it would be really hard to pull off when you have fewer cards available in your hand to pitch to. Although, granted, he does get extra resources, so maybe you're really cooking with this one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the ability to like... I also think this could kind of work as anything that's like conditional pay resources into, maybe as it's going to Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
Rather than like specifically cost reduction, I think anything that's like pay resources as you Arsenal this, which encourages Tough Nut to play this very slow, reserved block a lot strategy. But then he has this one turn where like he just has that card in Arsenal already set up and prepared, and then it just comes in as this massive like one card 12.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm ready to give you my first prediction, which is going to sound a little bit like Joel's.
Oh.
So I was looking at these Reviled and Revered cards that let you dynamically pitch resources into them. Like say you can pay, they say on the card you can pay up to 3 resources and create that many tokens for it. The Revered card Dig In lets you make toughness tokens. And the Reviled card Bask in Your Own Greatness lets you make might tokens. So I was thinking we haven't seen the end of this mechanic. You know, there's still a lot of cards that haven't been spoiled. I think they're holding back on us. I think that there's at least one more card that lets you dynamically pitch like this. I thought it would be cute if they got in the other 2 tokens in the set, confidence and
Toughness.
not toughness. Sorry, this is so hard. Confidence and vigor. Confidence and vigor. However, you can't make an indeterminate amount of confidence tokens. They don't stack. So I think there's going to be a brute card, a generic brute card that you can pitch dynamically into, like pitch up to 3 resources and create that many vigor tokens. Really kind of like a
Steve.
A lot like a Heave, yes. But
I get it, Clark.
what's the Kasai chess piece?
Grains of blood spill.
Yeah, like a grains of blood spill effect where you're pitching into it to create vigor.
Now, Fuzzy, are you aware that so far this mechanic has only appeared on talented cards? So you're making a pretty big swing here by saying it's going to break contamination from the talents and find its way into the classes.
See,
Oh, you're crazy.
that's the thing is I don't know that it's going to be, I really don't think it's going to be strictly reserved to these talented cards. I think it's a design space that Alice is exploring within the set generally. That's kind of my prediction.
Because we've seen 2 commons that do it, that you already named, Fuzzy. But then there's also the Majestic Bully Tactics, which brings Intimidate to Reviled. Also bringing Intimidate into Guardian through
That's true.
Lyeth.
Yes, so we've seen in 3 talented cards. Bully Tactics is a Majestic. But yeah, that's my prediction. You're right, Clark. It's a maybe a little wide here.
What's your other prediction?
This one might be a little bit low-hanging fruit, but I thought that there's going to be specifically a super rare card that is Revered Brute, something only Tough Nut can play, that has 6 power and pitches for 3.
What a great prediction.
The mythical Brute Blue 6 is something that Brute players have been chasing like for years and years. We're always excited to see more of them. And when they print these siloed Brutes, I think they feel comfortable giving it to individual Brutes. So I think I was looking at the numbers and there's only going to be like 3 of these super rares that are in every class talent type. We've already seen one of the ones for Tough Nut. I think one of the other 2 is a blue 6. We also know that KO can have a blue 6. I wrote this one down before we saw Outside Interference, which is a RKO blue 6. So I think Tough Nut's also going to get a zone. It also just seems like really important for his kit to be able to pitch a blue off the top blind and get your crowd cheering for you, because that's the kind of value that I think you need to be able to play with 3 intellect.
I think LSS
Amen, brother.
definitely goes, yeah, it's a nice high roll for them to hit this card.
So true. I'm excited for it. I sincerely hope that one comes true. That'll make playing Tough Nut a lot easier.
Yeah.
A lot smoother. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that wraps it up for the yellow pitch. Should we go over the rest of the predictions for like expansion slot, things like that?
Yeah, for blue pitch today, we kind of put all of the other predictions in this bucket over here. I'd like to start off with some Discord predictions, starting with Zaliver. Zaliver says there'll be a macro that acts as the weapon and scales with how much you've been booed or cheered.
Ooh.
I love the idea of being in the arena as a macro and the boos and cheers feeding into this engine. We did just get a very similar play pattern with Treasure Island of like both heroes doing something that furthers the goal by playing with this other resource. But God, I just really like the idea of like the crowd booing and cheering being represented by a card on the field.
Yeah, I think if they're going to extract the flavor for this set and make it cool and interesting, it has to be something like this, where you really feel the weight of like being booed or cheered in a match.
Old Barnacle predicted that there's going to be a macro called The Ring, which lets the heroes complete a super slam maneuver.
Oh.
So very similar idea between these two, right? They're talking about there being the shared mechanic that lets the heroes attack through this, right? So yes, you don't get the weapon, but you get this ability to sort of do a weapon-like thing. It's something that starts on the arena that lets you attack your opponent in some way. So taking the place of that weapon was sort of what Zaliver really leaned on, saying that it was going to have like a power at the bottom. Well, Old Barnacle is more focusing on that flavor of like there being the super slam special move that everyone can do.
Yeah. Love to see it. I love macros. I always love when they show up in the set. As a matter of fact, my prediction is about a macro, so stay tuned.
Oh.
I'll drop that in a little later. But first, I'm going to give you one more Discord prediction. Aperku said, of the 30-something expansion slots that we know will be in the set, Aperku predicts at least 10 of them will be specializations or spiritual specializations, like class-talented cards.
I think that's a great shout. There's so many heroes that need just a few more cards to really feel like they're more fleshed out. And they specifically mentioned like Marlin and Puffin. need the help. Like, it's so clear that Gravy is just like running far and away with being the best hero in the set, and those two just feel like they not only got the least out of the set, but that class combination of like Ranger and Mechanologist just got barely anything from High Seas.
I think we're going to move on to host predictions. Joel, what do you got?
So, I had a prediction that got thrown out the window pretty quickly. So I had a different one that I came up with.
Yeah, Joel wrote a prediction, and I'm like, I think this is literally not allowed in the stated rules of the game.
We do proofread these for you, the audience's pleasure.
Yeah. Also, so we don't look like a dumbass on the recording.
Yeah, and say that, like, he will be given...
Hey, whoa. That never happened. So for my super accurate prediction, I said that there will be a Raiden equipment that has Arcane Barrier. And what
Raiden equipment.
So what I mean by this is, like, you know how like Rangers with their bows get quivers? Like, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I think there will be something similar for Raiden. I don't know exactly what, like maybe like a guard or like I don't know what form it would take, but I think it would be a cool way to give Bolton either Arcane Barrier or maybe just like Arcane Prevention in some form, like similar to Soulbound Resolve, because his equipment suite is just so... It feels very like linear and very inflexible to his game plan. So like when you have to pay an Arcane Barrier at all, it just feels really bad. You just don't want to be pitching from your hand. So yeah, that's my Bolton sponsored prediction that I do just about every single set that comes out.
Awesome.
The other one I had was for Levia, the other sponsored prediction every single episode, or every single Pitchin Predictions. I think there's going to be a super rare card that supports Hexagore Levia in some way.
Oh. How?
I don't know. Maybe there's like a...
Expansion slot, you think?
Yeah, definitely an expansion slot card, but I think there's enough flails in the game to like maybe they just do like whatever reaches the most flails in the game and like reduces the maybe the resource cost or buffs it, or like flails you control lose all abilities. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what form it could take, but I definitely want something to support that gameplay loop of Levia.
I think I'm going to disagree with you just on a technicality here, Joel. I don't think we're going to see any super rare cards in the expansion slot. I think they're really there for limited and to help the design space of the 4 new heroes. I think it's just going to be Majestics and Legendaries, my man.
I disagree.
That's great. I love when we disagree.
Yeah.
It gives me a chance to be right.
That's so fucking real.
I also think that it could be interesting to see banishing 6s come back into play. That's always something that they've sort of played around in base brute design. And one of the issues with Levia is that she kind of has to have go again on that banish.
Yeah.
Otherwise, swinging Hexagore just means that you're taking all this damage from Blood Debt. And that's fucking bad. So it's like, okay, well, I want to build up Blood Debt so that I don't take damage from swinging Hexagore. But then I need to banish 6s so I don't take that damage now that I've built up Blood Debt.
Dread Screamer 2?
Maybe like something that's maybe brute oriented that banishes, maybe from pitch or something else like that. I think there could be some interesting designs there.
Absolutely.
But something with go again that maybe banishes a 6, I think would also fulfill this category in the super rare. It doesn't even have to be expansion slot.
Cool. Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm going to drop in with my 2 plus a bonus prediction. That's right, bonus prediction from Fuzzy. First, I think the macro in this set does not exist. I don't think we're getting a macro.
Yeah.
Now, here's the reason why. I think so far the 2 examples of macros that we've seen are very targeted at solving a problem in limited. In the first one in Rosetta, Sanctuary of Aria gave you a way to combat arcane damage, a very limited way, because they wanted arcane damage to be very present, but still finish you off in the game. They didn't want Arcane Barrier, they wanted something a little bit lighter than that. That's what the macro solved. In High Seas, they wanted all heroes to have a lot of access to gold tokens, and they didn't want you to have to worry about drafting those access to gold tokens, so they put it in the macro. It solved that problem. I'm looking at the cards that we've seen so far, and I'm not seeing any big problems. Now, granted, Cheers and Booze is a big one, but half the heroes already have that in their ding dang hero ability, guys. So how much of a problem could it really be when you can just pitch resources to get your Cheers and Booze depending on the hero that you are?
Dang.
He pulled out the ding. I've never heard that word from Fuzzy, actually.
Damn.
So
you know he's furious with all these macro predictions.
What do you think about the weapon suggestion? I mean, that's what 2 of our Discord predictions were, and it shows a clear weakness in the limited design.
you know what? That's true. But what do you think the problem is, Clark? Because a lack of weapons isn't necessarily an issue, right? Do you think the issue is games will go to fatigue? Or do you think the issue is there's way more incentive to block? Or maybe like it's the opposite where you really don't want to block because when you block, you don't have a way to push back against the fatigue math. Like, what is the problem with not having weapons that you think a macro could solve? Because I don't think it is a problem. I think they're going to solve it just by having a card pool, maybe with more instants that don't block, something like that, you know?
Yeah, I think it's going to reward people not blocking as much, because they don't have that guaranteed 1 card way of doing something.
They're also playing with life totals a lot, so it seems like there's going to be a lot more restrictions on how you use your hand effectively, especially when like Revered wants to be less health and Reviled wants to be higher health than your opponent.
And I'm not quite hearing anything that a macro would really fix, and I could be wrong. I actually be glad to be wrong, because I fucking love macros, but we'll see. I don't think there's going to be one in this set.
They've also typically done set with macro, set without macro, set with macro.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
The second prediction I have is that we are going to see more counterplay towards instants added into the game. And when I say more counterplay, I guess we have Weakest Link, right? Weakest Link is kind of like a counter. Exactly, right? Like, how much can you really do to combat instants?
I mean, it is. I think Weakest Link is actually a kind of goated card. I've been coming really around to how strong Weakest Link is.
It's a strong card for sure. Although it doesn't even hit a lot of Pleiades instants that have block values. So if you want to try to punish her for playing those cards, that's hard to do, you know? So I think we're going to see more options for hate cards against instants or cards that come in at instant speed. And I don't know what that would look like.
I'd love that.
That's a design challenge that LSS has to solve. Maybe it could be one of those cards where, like, if somebody plays an instant, you can play another card in response to it, like instants hurt instants, or maybe attack action cards that you can discard to negate an instant. And other than that, they're like vanilla cards or something. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of options there, none of which are super elegant, but we'll see. I do think that them printing block 3 instants in Pleiades and really ramping up the power of what instants can do is a clue that they're also going to be ramping up the counterplay to them, you know?
God willing.
Or they're just printing these really strong cards. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about LSS picking favorites, and Pleiades getting blocking instants.
That's pretty absurd.
I mean, it takes away the one downside to instants. So,
And for my bonus prediction in Blue Pitch,
bonus.
I would like to talk about the Fable. You know who hasn't really gotten a targeted Fable yet? Brutes. Brutes haven't gotten a targeted Fable. You saw me write it down.
It's also okay. It was also the first thing that would come to my mind if someone said.
We've seen Guardians get Fable gems in the past. They don't really need them, you know? They have Grandeur of Valheim or whatever. Brutes should have a Fabled resource gem, and that's my prediction, is that there's going to be one. Now, Clark said I have to give it text. I can't just say there's going to be a Brute Fabled gem. So I think it'll be a yellow gem that will give attack action cards you own +1 outside the combat chain, much like just for like the turn that you pitch it.
Yeah. So for one turn, you get KO Armed and Dangerous Hero ability.
Holy.
Many more 6s available to you as long as you just pitched this card. That's my prediction.
This would make Leviathan fucking insane.
It would also have to be yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. How the fuck would that work with Shadow Realm Horror? Well, not non-attack action cards don't get it. Okay, never mind. It's fine.
And it would trigger before the Shadow Realm. No, because it's an additional cost, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no idea
It
how it
would
would
trigger
work.
before. Anyhow, that almost doesn't matter. I really like this idea. I also think it could be a Reviled Revered gem.
Nah.
That could happen too. I
And
can
when it
see it.
pitches, you get like cheered or booed.
Well, I think that's all about I got for Blue Pitch. Oh, wait. Oh, just kidding. We have 2 more from our best host number 2, Clark.
Yeah, I'll move through mine pretty quickly. My first one is a very, very simple prediction. I think all the super rares are going to be talented. I don't think there's going to be any base class super rares. I don't think there's going to be brute super rares. I don't think there's going to be guardian super rares. I think they're going to be fully attached to Reviled and Revered.
That's specific and also lame.
Yes.
I want there to be super rares for brutes, and
Yeah.
I'm just greedy. I love super rares. It's such a cool fucking
They're
rarity.
really cool. And like Fuzzy has said, when you pull up the placeholders and everything, there's not enough room in the like revered guardian and revered brute spaces,
Yeah.
right? Like it has to break out of that somewhere. I just don't know if it's going to break out into the classes themselves.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think whenever they do stuff like whenever they do really cool new things, they really like siloing it.
Yeah.
And I think they will silo it to only these 4 heroes, only this people in Super Slime. I think that lets them push the flavor of it. I think that lets them push the designs of it. And I think all that is going to keep it into the talents, which so far are very restricted to just this set.
I remember thinking they were all going to be both class talent cards, but based on the numbers of the set, that doesn't look like it's possible. So they're going to have to bleed into either the talented cards or the class cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid prediction.
My other prediction has to do with generics. Oh, we haven't talked about generics yet. But the generics are a big part of every single set. I think there's going to be the finishing to the blank for a blank series. So there's Scar for a Scar, Life for a Life, and we just had Blow for a Blow. I think there's going to be a 3-cost version of this cycle. And that is going to be a 3-cost for 4 Go Again, conditional Go Again if you have less life than the opponent. And it's going to have a way of getting 2 value on hit. I'm not sure what that 2 value is going to be, but it's going to be 2 value.
I can see where you're going with this one. I do think it would be a little funny if the Might Heroes could both play their cards that reward you for having more life and the generic cards that reward you for having less life.
It's a little silly, but I also think it sort of leans into the idea of revered heroes wanting to go lower. And so this is a generic that the revered heroes would prefer, or the reviled heroes might prefer it because when they're lower in life, they can throw this.
Yeah.
And then when it hits, they go above in life and then they can play like their Mocking Blow or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, completing the cycle. It seems like there's a lot of focus on like life totals being different, but we just had Life for a Life and Blow for a Blow reprinted. So like it's either going to be just a Scar for a Scar reprint, or I think they add this little extra thing. If you think about High Seas, they had a 1-cost and the brand new 2-cost. Why wouldn't this set reprint Scar for a Scar and then also give the 3-cost on the other end to complete the cycle?
Yeah, I think that's a solid prediction, and I think it'd be interesting to see like what benefit they give you for the 3-cost.
Yeah. So those are my 2 predictions here in our little catch-all section.
And that's all about I have for Blue Pitch. So I think it's time for us to move on to our Arsenal Zone.
The Arsenal Zone. The Arsenal Zone's a part of our podcast where we talk about a card we love, a card we hate, or a card we love to hate, or a card that's just kind of floating there. Well, at least that's what we normally do. This Arsenal Zone is going to be a little bit different. We always switch it up a little bit for our pitch and predictions. We're going to talk a little bit about the possible expansion slot cards that we can see. But this time we're going to specifically talk about the different reprints that we could see. Because they said they're putting a lot of reprints in those 30 expansion slot cards.
True.
Hype.
So we're going to talk about some reprints that we could be seeing that are going to be really, really spicy. But before we do that, we have to make good on a promise we made during our live stream. Because we missed that week, we said we were going to do 2 patron spots in the Arsenal Zone for this week.
Bro, I wish I was a patron right now.
So let's go ahead and jump into our first one. We're going to pull up the dock, pull up the random
Pulling it
number
up.
generator,
Throwing it up.
and
Mulvane!
Mulvane has decided to call out Poison the Tips. Poison the Tips is a really, really cool card. It is a yellow Ranger 0-cost non-attack action card that blocks for 2. It has Go Again. And it says, arrows this turn gain on hit, discard a card. Or the opponent discards a card. I guess I should be extra specific.
It also has reload.
It also reloads? Bro, this card is goated.
Yep. And Mulvane had this to say about Poison the Tips. Poison the Tips has been on my mind. It presents a difficult choice for the opponent, especially because it's usually stapled onto an arrow with a breakpoint, and most likely with some other on-hit effects. And it's a downright nasty on a turn that goes wide or with Rain Razors in hand. I'm having a lot of fun watching opponents squirm this season. That sounds terrifying. And also, thank you, Mulvane, because we literally just finished your predictions. Like, I think the last time we did a Patreon shout out. So thanks for submitting again. This card is quite good. I don't think Ranger really got the support they needed to make this card like insanely good. Like Marlin, it just isn't that range to go too wide. But I'm sure Riptide is loving this card still.
I mean, it's still really nice as a reload source for Marlin that still can present a card for a card. Mm-hmm. A lot of the times what opponents will do on the overpower, right, is that they will block with the card that you could take, and then they reveal their other cards and they go, ha ha ha, you don't get to discard a card anymore. And then it's like, well, yeah, but Poison the Tips, you still discard a card.
Yeah, it really is a pretty flexible on hit. Like, it's never not annoying, right? They have to block it. I think it's also cool that it's one of the few cards in the game that gives an on hit to multiple cards in your combat chain. Mm-hmm. Like there are some that say like the next time an attack action card hits, but this one's like, no, every single one of this type of attack action card for the rest of the turn will get this on hit, and that's really strong.
So thank you so much, Mulvane, for submitting another card. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you soon at a larger event, or maybe you come back to California one of these days. I mean,
hey, Worlds is coming up, and if I recall correctly, Mulvane is in the more easternly side of the U.S.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't want to call out where he's living, but yeah, he's definitely on the East Coast.
Yeah, he is somewhere not on the West Coast. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That is a lot of different areas. We are not doxing our favorite.
That is true. Cool. Well, we do have one other person selected. We have, drumroll please, Geno Jack! Woo!
Or is it Geno Jack?
We've been saying Geno Jack on the pod for like a while.
I feel like he would have written us a letter if it was Geno Jack, so I'm just going to keep saying Geno Jack. Geno Jack submitted Eclectic Magnetism. Eclectic Magnetism is a 1-cost, red pitch, 3-block, 5-power lightning attack action that says, when this attacks, you may play a non-attack action card, this chain link, as though it were an instant. And he had this to say about Eclectic Magnetism. Eclectic Magnetism, the rare chunky lightning card that still feels flavorful, lets you go again, quote unquote, spells with embodiments, one of the rare good blocks with Somersault and Acilio, opens the door to weird new interactions in the future. By far the best thing is hitting, drawing off Lightning Valley, and playing a spell you just top decked in Resolution Zip. That is pretty nasty. And Blippy also commented that you can play Plunder at an instant speed to give the Eclectic Magnetism go again and on a hit draw card, and Geno Jack seemed to like that. He's like, yo, what?
Yeah. Plus, like, Burn Up Shock was the one that was printed with it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, just Eclectic Magnetism. It's just a 1-for-5, and I'm going to make an embodiment in Arsenal this other card. You don't have to worry.
Mm-hmm.
Psych!
That's fucking disgusting. So thank you so much, both Geno Jack and Mulvane, for submitting your cards. We really appreciate it. And if you didn't hear your card shouted out this Arsenal Zone, don't worry. Both of these people had banked responses, so we'll get to your submission at some point. And we hopefully will be doing Patreon submissions for people that win a free month of Patreon from this little contest we're throwing.
Yeah, remember, month of October is where you get that, and you can load us up with possible predictions.
Hell yeah.
All right, now we're going to jump into ours, and as a reminder, we are not doing our traditional where we just talk about a card we like, but instead we're talking about old cards that could get reprinted in this extra wide expansion slot we're getting in Super Slam. I'll lead us off.
Do it.
Look, we got our Codex reprint. And we got our Command and Conquer reprint. What's the one other card people keep calling to get reprinted that we haven't seen in a long time? E-Strike.
Sure.
I think we are getting a legendary Enlightened Strike reprint, baby. I think it's also really cool because with Mastery Pack Guardian, we just got a view of what the old ones look like. And so E-Strike was always kind of alluding to what was going on with the old ones and those old gods and what was going on in those early days of Wraith. And I think it would be really cool to kind of get a modern lore reimagining of what that figure in E-Strike and Art of War looks like.
Or lore, period. That would work too.
It'd be fucking sick.
Yeah.
Sorry, what does Lightning Strike do again?
Enlightened Strike is a generic 0-cost attack action card. It attacks for 5 and blocks for 3. And when you play it as an additional cost, you must put a card from your hand onto the bottom of your deck. You then get to select one of 3 different modes of Go Again, +2 power, or draw a card.
Yeah.
This has been a flexible card. It's a source of Go Again in Guardian. It's been a source of Go Again in Assassins, in old lists, before they were given, surging strikes on their daggers.
That is fucking crazy.
In decks where you can regularly give yourself extra action points, it's also been a source of drawing a card. So it could be a 1-card 5 with Go Again. And as well as a little bit of hand fixing if the hand's a little awkward. Or it can just be a nice chunky 2-card 7. It becomes an on-rate basic attack that's just a little bit annoying to have to deal with, right? So the flexibility that it provides, very utilitarian. It's always held a pretty high cost as a result of this. And they've shown us that they're doing these big legendary reprints of old demanding cards that have risen in price. I think this is a great one to reprint. I think people have always grouped it in with conversations like Art of War, like CNC, as like these generic staples that aren't going anywhere. Time to reprint it.
I totally agree. If you hadn't written it down first, gotten to it first, I might have even put it down on my list. It's a great call out that it's a necessary reprint, that if that's their goal, that should be on their list.
Yeah. I have a card that's a lot less core to Flesh and Blood. My card that I'm shouting out is Exude Confidence.
Oh, what a good shout out. I loved seeing this in our notes.
Yeah, so Exude Confidence, for those of you who don't know, is a 0-cost majestic that blocks for 2, attacks for 4, is red, and says, while Exude Confidence isn't defended by a card with equal or greater power, the defending hero can't play or activate instances or defense reactions this combat chain. And as an instant, you may pay 3 resources. Exude Confidence gains +2 power, and you can only activate this ability while Exude Confidence is attacking. So the reason why I think this would be a sick reprint is because a lot of the Reviled heroes play with really low base power attacks and use or Lyeth will often use his 5th card, thanks to his 5 intelligence, to pitch into his hero ability, plus like some other 1-cost defensive card, or he can just pitch into not even Exude Confidence, but fucking what's it called, Bully Tactics, where you pay one resource each for Intimidate or Bask in Your Own Greatness to create multiple might tokens. So I think that plus KO's hero power, they're just going to have lots of extra blues to advance their game state. And I think making Exude Confidence higher than base 4 is might be pretty interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool how KO sort of has this mirrored thing where he can put that extra blue in hand to make the attack 6 power. He can do that on any of his really, really low cost blue reviled attacks. Or this attack. Either way, it puts it to be a 6-powered card that he now controls.
Yeah.
At the same time, it has really nice counterplay as we see a lot more instant design becoming more important.
Yes.
And as I keep thinking about these charms and how they can be used defensively, saying, you don't get to use your charm defensively. That's really cool.
Yeah, not only does it not let them use it defensively, but oftentimes it will sort of flush out, quote unquote, the instances that people have. So they'll play like Count Your Blessings like immediately so that it's not stuck in their hand when they need to survive. However, if Fuzzy's prediction is correct and we have more instant counterplay as instances, this might be an insane like 2-card combo where you play Exude, flush out the instant, and then counter it or something.
Totally.
Oh, that'd be so sick to see.
Yeah. So that's my card. I don't have one to sign for you guys, but I just thought I'd talk about it.
Yeah.
So I have 2. I'm cheating a little bit here, but the first one is just for fun, not for points. I really think we're going to see a Pummel reprint in this set because we've seen like Razor Reflex be draftable in the Hunted, and Pummel is so iconic. But would you believe that they haven't printed Pummel in a draftable set since Welcome to Rave?
Yes, because you kind of really need 0 for 4 D reacts at common to offset pummel. Unless
Absolutely.
they rarity up pummel and they make it a rare.
Oh.
Or they print some like instants that have damage prevention, giving you essentially the same effect, you know? So I think we're going to see pummel. We got Guardians and Brutes. Anyone can run pummel and profit. So I think that's something we're going to see. Now, my real prediction for these expansion slot reprints is Warmonger's Diplomacy.
Another very good selection.
When you talk about these core cards that could really be helped if the price gets driven down, I think Warmonger's Diplomacy is near the top of the list. This card is like kind of more recent than some cards like E-Strike, but also it's not that new. Warmonger's Diplomacy has been in the game, in the Flesh and Blood Sphere, for the same length of time as this podcast has been in the Flesh and Blood Sphere, because we started doing our podcast around the time that Dust Till Dawn came out.
That's true.
No way.
I think our first Pitchin Predictions was Dust Till Dawn as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So Warmonger's like has been in the game for a long time, haven't seen any reprints, and being able to drive the price down on that card, I think would be healthier for the game. I think that is all the predictions we have.
It's all the predictions we're allowed to have, Fuzzy.
Yeah, but
You
that
think
does,
I don't want to give more?
but that doesn't mean that you, the viewer, still can't submit. Be sure to either write down in a comment on YouTube, join the Discord, and type it up in the chat, or type it on a Spotify, send a pigeon, send an email. Do something to get your predictions in so that you get a chance at winning a free month of Patreon.
Yeah, for October 2025. We're keeping it just to 1 month so that someone like kind of has to cash it in rather than them sitting on it and then like a year later being like, can I get that free month of Patreon now?
It is way easier for us to organize, and I think it's also pretty hype when we see a whole surge of people in 1 month, because then we can do special things with it.
Yeah, that first Crucible I think is going to be pretty fucking dope.
I better come up with a really cool format.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, be sure to join the Discord as well, just in case you want to see the spoilers, 'cause that's the only place you can get the spoilers for.
Yeah, we have a whole chat dedicated to talking about them too.
And the contest is not the only way to get our Patreon. You can also just give us money in exchange for some of the benefits we talked about before. So keep that in mind when your free month runs out. All right. Well,
Until next time, thank you all for listening.
Bye-bye.
okay, bye. Pitch It To Me podcast is hosted by Joel Recinos, Clark Moore, and Fuzzy Delp. Our executive producer is Talon Stradley. Our logistics coordinator is John Farkas. Music is produced by Dillon Hulse. Logo is designed by Han V. And our sound mixing is done by Christopher Moore. Last but not least, thank you, the listener, for taking the time to listen to our podcast. Be sure to give us a follow on your favorite social media platform at Pitch It To Me Podcast.